Welcome back to the lab. Good Friday of the lockdown. So it's like 1:45 in the afternoon, and I've tried my best to sit around and do nothing because it's supposed to be a statutory holiday and they've closed absolutely everything unless it's like a power station or something. So you can't buy anything in New Zealand. You're not supposed to be going anywhere. You're not really supposed to be doing anything, twiddling your thumbs, and I'm bored. So in the background, of course, is the little Nissan March, which I've been ignoring for as long as possible to get work done on the Gloria, get that done for the customer. Losing my mind. I'm going to go and play with the March. It's going to happen. So there's a few things I've thought about doing. Some of them get quite involved and quite serious. I'm going to start with something really basic, and I'll show you what that is. Fake carbon fibre guards. Been through all that. Mentioned this before and talked about why they're fake carbon fibre. They're actually, it's aluminium under there, which has been folded and then shrunk to get the curve, and then a piece welded across the front of it. Never been able to get this to stick down properly here. No matter what you do, heating it and pressing it down and all that, give it a day or two, and she peels back up again. So the reason for that, I believe, is due to the process that I had when I made it. You watch, it's not going to peel off one-handed now. And I'll probably do this, and then I'll go, now all I need to do is get my new carbon fibre from the box that I'm looking at right over there, leaning against that post, and I won't have any. Under here, I think the problem is we don't have a, well, it doesn't look too bad, we don't have a smooth enough surface for that to stick to. Doesn't look terrible though, eh? So anyway, my plan was to polish that up a bit more, gives it a smoother surface, and have another go. This is probably the third attempt at getting this stuff to stick, because sometimes it just won't. I'll have to try and remember to get the angle right. I'll try and make it so that the grain of the carbon fibre is the same on there. Being super fussy, eh? This is what we do when we're killing time. Alright, I'm going to take that off and let's have a look at it. So a few minutes later, after some time on my sketchy as polishing machine, don't worry, we've got some reasonable size bolts holding the block of wood, holding the bench grinder into the vise. Hey, I've got limited room. You do things you need to do to make things happen. Focused on the problem area more than anything else. I didn't get too carried away with it, just dealt with this area here. As you can see, that's pretty shiny now. And I know some of you will be like, this dude's crazy. Why is he polishing it? It will make it slippery. Well, it probably will to the touch. But here's our whiteboard. That's nice and clean, ready to go. And here's our pen that'll work. If you can imagine you trying to stick something onto a surface that's like this, and you've got something flat with glue on that side of it, you're only going to get certain amounts of contact, not much. And if you scale that down, so you've got perhaps that, which is now polished in a straight line, you'll get far more contact between this and that than what you will that and that. Therefore, a polished surface is better than a rough surface. Taking it to the extremes, if you've got a piece of race tape or duct tape and you try to stick it to, say, the road or some asphalt, you'll find you'll struggle to do that, whereas it'll stick quite nicely to a piece of glass. So that's that. Shiny, shiny. Now I'm going to go and get my new piece of fake carbon fibre and see if we can stick it to that. And maybe it'll stay there this time. Fingers crossed. Just like that, it was Monday, all my hair had fallen off, it started raining, and I got some bloody carbon fibre on the front of this car. Fake carbon fibre, that is, of course. So I haven't worried about a couple of bubbles in there. One or two kicking around, that's right. We'll just see how long this stays on here this time. I did screw up, there's a small little wrinkle here. It's pretty hard to see unless you're right there in person. There might be another one there. We'll find out. We'll see if that sticks on there. It's been on there 3 or 4 days now. I did this on Friday arvo. It's still there. Hasn't lifted. So that might be better. This is the other side, needs the same thing done to it. Probably not going to worry about doing this side until I've confirmed I've fixed the other side. And look, if that problem persists, if I can't get that to stick down there, I'm actually going to make some real carbon fibre flares for it. So there you go. I've said that now, and at this point in time I can edit that out. But once that goes up on Facebook, YouTube, then I've said it in public, then I have to do it. So we'll see what happens. While I had the buffer going, got the exhaust tip for the Gloria. That's one side. Made a bit of a start on that. It's not 100% finished yet, because it has to have some stuff welded onto this side of it. There's no point in getting carried away. It's going to get scratched, but it's starting to look pretty cool. And by the time we put that bottom of the car there, that is going to look snazzy as. She's going to look good. Yeah, it's Monday. What is the time? It's that o'clock, 10 o'clock. I might I have to move a bit of stuff. I've stacked up some tyres, as you'll see. Too many wheels and tyres around here. I've got to put them somewhere. And then we can grab these bits that are sitting on the bench there and make another one of those, except the mirror image. Get on with that. Just like that, right hand side tip all welded together. Obviously needs a tidy up and all that sort of carry on with the flappy wheel on the angle grinder there, and then put the polisher back in the vise. Make it look pretty like this one over here. But in the meantime, it's lunchtime. I feel sorry for those that don't have anything to do. She's although it does look bright out there, but she's not a very nice day. Quite windy, quite yucky. All the leaves are falling off the blooming trees. If you're stuck at the beach, good job. You shouldn't be at the beach unless you've been there for the whole lockdown, I guess. But yeah, we'll make that one in the vise look like that, which is not bad. That'll get a little bit more of a tidy up once I've got the pipe in the end there set up to whatever angle it needs to be for the down pipe, drop pipe, whatever we want to call it. So all the welds nice and polished off. Looking pretty snazzy. A lot more work to go yet, but that's probably actually going to wind up looking a little bit better than the original one. A little bit straighter. Just like that, it was Tuesday, day 20 of the lockdown. And I've polished the welds a little bit and got carried away with them, but they're looking pretty snazzy. And I've set up the old polisher in here again. So I guess I might swap hands, because polishing with my left hand and holding the cell phone with my right is probably not the one. Danger, Will Robinson. So anyway, bit of a polishing medium, bar, stick, log, whatever people want to call it. Chuck a bit of that on the wheel like that. Ta-da! Take your... I'm going to do this very, 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 very carefully, because I'm doing a one-handed, it's a bit risky. This will give you an example of how long it takes to make these things look absolutely beautiful. So there's two wheels that I've got. There's a coarse and a fine, of course, as you would expect. It's much like sandpaper. Start with a coarse one, move to the fine. It's got a bit of a scratch on there. Scratches you want to be going at 90 degrees to remove them. And if they're really bad, probably attack them with a bit of sandpaper first to get rid of them. Doesn't look very good, does it? Oh, that looks somewhat better. So then you want to have a rag or some paper. Let's just use paper towel for this one for now. Give that just a little bit of a shine up. There you go. You can see there's potential for that to come up quite nicely. And you might be able to understand how much work there is involved, making the whole thing look pretty snazzy. We're not going to worry about getting them absolutely perfect for exhaust tips that are directly behind the rear wheels. They'll get hammered pretty quickly. So I'll carry on with that. I'll show you when it's finished. We might even try and get them on the car. So I've got to cut this to the right length, as I've said earlier, and then we've got to put these elbows on in the right position, and then we've got to fit them up onto those downpipes in the back of the car. So long way to go. Weather is mud, although strangely enough the sun is out again, but it's blowing and it's raining and it's terrible. But that's fine, I'm inside, so I'm happy. There you go. That'll look alright, I reckon. So I've welded the tip onto the elbow that's in here. Only partially welded at this point in time, and we got the magic masking tape holding that on there. The issue being, once that tip's welded onto the end of that downpipe, exhaust pipe, whatever you want to call it, that doesn't pass through the hole in here anymore to get over the top of the diff, or is not likely to. Certainly on this side, there's absolutely no chance of it on the driver's side. Passenger side, maybe. In fact, I'll try that later on while it's just held on with tape. If it does fit, then I can weld it all up. Just in the meantime, we've got a lot of assembly and disassembly to do with that, so I don't want to make that harder than it needs to be for now. But that's pretty good. That's pretty much what the customer wanted. He wanted this angle here to line up with that angle there, which is actually a bit of a curve, so it's pretty tricky. And this side here, it tapers in at the bottom, whereas the other side doesn't, because it's had a rust repair done on one side. This is basically a sharp curve, very, very sharp curve radius at the end, whereas the other side kind of does some, oh, sorry, I just crashed the camera again, does some funky bend around the corner bit that it shouldn't really do. It actually feels, yeah, that's more silicon in there. I can feel it. I didn't see it. I don't want to know. I'm not dealing with it. So, because that would stuff all the paint and everything. So that's what he wanted anyway. That angle's pretty much the same as that, depending on what part of that you want to follow. By the time that's on the ground and we're looking down from up the top, it'll look pretty swish. So that's cool. Bit of, pardon me, Coca-Cola sinking in there. Bit of a short video today. That'll probably do. I'm running very late with things. I've basically had the weekend off because it's Easter weekend, so sorry about that. Bit of a gap in the videos, but I'll keep trucking along for yous. Right, cheers, bye.